Karl Hermann Frank was one of the most feared figures in Nazi-occupied Czechoslovakia. His name still echoes in the history of Central Europe, not because he led armies into glorious battles, but because he shaped a reign of terror that touched every corner of the Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia. His rise, power, and eventual fall form a story that holds a listener from start to finish. Frank was born in 1898 in Karlsbad, a region where German nationalism simmered long before the Second World War. He grew up believing that Germans were superior and that the lands around him should belong to the Reich. When he joined the Sudeten German Party in the 1930s, he quickly became one of its most radical voices. His speeches were sharp, incendiary, and tailored to stir resentment. Berlin noticed him early, and he became a useful tool for Hitler's plans in Central Europe. When the Munich Agreement tore apart Czechoslovakia in 1938, Frank stepped into the spotlight. After the German takeover, he was appointed Secretary of State, later promoted to higher SS and police leader. This gave him near-total control over security, police operations, and political repression. In the Protectorate, people learned that when Frank spoke, terror often followed. He ruled with calculation rather than chaos. Resistance movements knew that even small acts of defiance could bring massive reprisals. His role became even darker after the assassination of Reinhard Heydrich in 1942. Heydrich had been the brutal Reich protector, and his death unleashed one of the most violent crackdowns in the war. Frank helped orchestrate the destruction of entire villages, including Lidice and Lidice. Men were executed, women and children deported, and the ashes of these places were meant to serve as warnings. Frank's statement after these massacres was cold and deliberate. The Protectorate would be broken or it would be bled. As the war turned against Germany, Frank tried to present himself as a man forced into hard decisions. But the people he ruled had long memories. When the Third Reich began to collapse in 1945, he attempted to negotiate with Czech leaders to avoid a violent uprising. It was too late. Prague rose anyway, and Frank was captured as he tried to escape. His trial after the war was public, closely followed, and symbolic. Survivors confronted the man who had governed their lives through fear. The evidence was overwhelming. In May 1946, Karl Hermann Frank was executed by hanging in Prague. His story is a reminder of how one man, armed with ideology and authority, can manipulate fear and shape the fate of millions. It also shows how, even after years of terror, justice can still find its way through the ruins.